Welcome to episode number 28 of
What's Brewing Sis?
I'm Shelly.
I'm Bianca.
And I'm Deanna, and here we come together to serve the brew.
Yeah, we are back, guys. We are back for a new episode.
Yes, episode 28. We are moving through these episodes.
Episode number 28. We are moving and grooving. Deanna is on location.
Yes. So normally you see the three of us here, but Deanna's with us on location, still ready and engaged to discuss the book.
Yes.
Absolutely.
How is it out there, Deanna? What's the weather like?
The weather outside is frightful.
It is frightful today.
It's a little chilly.
Yeah.
I got out there while the sun was still out, so I was like, it was bringing back those summer memories.
Yes.
But it got dark
Yes.
really fast.
So last time we were here, we were with Marcus Carter,
Yes.
and then he interviewed us. So if you haven't checked out those two episodes, go back, watch. We had a really good time with Marcus. Marcus is great.
Our tables were turned,
Uh-huh.
and we actually got interviewed, so that was definitely interesting.
Yeah.
That was fun, as you used to say.
That was so much fun.
So, yeah, we got interviewed. It was fun, and I think it was a really insightful interview.
I think so too. Yeah, I think he Marcus asked the tough questions, and then when you think you're done, he has another question right behind it, just to like dig in a little bit more.
Right.
So yeah, he is a really good guest and now a friend to the show.
Right.
Yeah, because we found out Marcus is also an author.
Yeah.
As well. So gotta have him back on the show.
Yes, and Thanksgiving happened since our last episode.
How was you guys' Thanksgiving?
It was good. I had my sister over. We ate so much food. We went shopping. We picked up my bonus mom, Carolyn, and picked her up and went shopping again. So my pockets a little hurt.
Yeah. I think we went shopping at some point as well too.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
I'm like, who was shopping?
Me and Savannah hung out. My parents were gone, so it was like a lonely. What did the lonely do at Thanksgiving?
What do they do?
So we went to the movies and we went downtown and saw the Christmas tree, and it was a fun Thanksgiving. What about you, Deanna? What you do for Thanksgiving?
We went to my brother's, which is our norm, and all the cousins and everybody came over and had a great old time, and it was nice as always. I did not go shopping like you guys physically, but I did do some cyber shopping. So
yes.
Yeah.
Cyber shopping is always good,
So this episode, we went back to the book club. It's been couple months?
It's been a few days.
Should left you.
Yes, it has been some time since we did the book club episode. If you have not watched our first book club episode, go check that out. You know what? We went through some counseling after that book club episode. Everybody got their point of view, and it's always good for us to have those type of conversations. But I think for sure it shows people, like, I think when people see us three together, they be kind of like, oh my God, they argue. But they still, hold it together. I think arguing can be healthy for friendships.
And it's interesting to see how three different people have almost three different point of views about the same thing.
Absolutely.
So I'm interested to hear how everyone felt about this book.
Me too. So, without further
ado, we have Author Jeanine Rogers. The book is Don't Smell Like Smoke. I have it sitting here so everyone can see. And it was a very interesting book, and we want to talk more about it with the author. Yes. So without further ado.
Jeanine Rogers, a Chicago native, was raised by a single mother who nurtured her first loves, faith and family. At the age of 11, she discovered her passion for writing poems and stories, including co-authoring a children's book in high school and interviewing Gwendolyn Brooks, which fueled her passion as she realized the power to transform lives one word at a time. Dealing with life's obstacles, Jeanine overcame the challenges she saw firsthand by learning to remain purposeful and driven. She applied the values planted in her youth and became a scholar who went on to obtain a bachelor's and 2 masters in education. With 20 years of experience, Jeanine strives to lead the way in encouraging others to become lifelong learners of self. A woman of action, she balances her career, being a Zeta, the joys of being a single mom to her college-age daughter, and DIY projects with her writing passion. In her first novel, Don't Smell Like Smoke, Jeanine hopes to encourage, inspire, and empower readers to see themselves as triumphant. In introducing the business birthed from the process of publishing Don't Smell Like Smoke, Jeanine has also launched 5 Point Vision LLC, which is a business consultant services. Guys, please welcome Jeanine Rogers to What's Brewing Sis podcast.
Hello, ladies.
Hi. Jeanine, you're here.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Thank you for that beautiful intro.
You are so welcome. We do this for the thank you at the end. So we be like, I love to see people's reaction while they're backstage, you know.
Yeah.
So we hope to just do you justice.
Definitely. Thank you.
You're so very welcome.
So digging right in, you wrote this book. How long has your book been out?
It's been out a year and 2 months.
Yes, you just made your year anniversary not too long ago. And this is your first book, right?
This is my first book.
Yeah.
So how did you get into writing?
I've always been a writer since I was a child. I don't know that I did anything special, but I used to write poetry, and you have a teacher or two who feeds into your passion and just encourages you. And so I continued writing, and I used to do open mics back in college and all of that fun stuff. Never thought I would write a novel, though. That's a new one for me.
Definitely.
That's cool. You said you did open mic. Were you doing poetry?
Yes, I did poetry. So I started as a poet. Yes, I was in the open mic business, and that was fun. But people used to say, do a poetry book, but I ended up doing this that has poetry in it.
Yeah. I was going to say, this is a little bit of poetry.
Yeah.
So
and you can still, there's still time. You can still make that poetry book too.
There's still
always. So this book was definitely very interesting. It was 4 main characters. So we had Grace, Hope, Faith, and Joy. And we followed along in their journey. And it was definitely interesting. I found a little bit of myself in each person's story.
Me too. Yeah.
So it was definitely interesting to get into that. But before we do that, we always like to start with some icebreakers. So let me pull that up.
Yep. And we want all of our viewers to, type in your comments too. We see everybody in the live chat. Jeanine, we're going to bring up some of the comments too, so you can see everybody who's here. And, we want you guys to be included as well. So as we ask these questions, think about, your answers for them too.
Yeah.
Because maybe I can steal somebody's answer.
So my first question, what is the funniest thing you've seen online recently?
I posted it the other day. I'm not online that much. I'm usually looking for funny things because that's a little stress reliever. But, we just came off of Thanksgiving. I'm an educator. A long stretch of time off, and it was a Maury meme. And it was like, you said you would go on break and come back relaxed and rested and feeling good. And we've determined that's a lie. Because I didn't relax like I should have.
Yeah, I think I needed some counseling come Monday morning. I was like, oh God, I don't know where I'm at. I can't sleep tonight.
Right.
I was up for hours just trying to get my last minute of the holiday hours in.
Yeah, I think I actually did come back pretty refreshed, but you always get those Monday morning blues. I think for me, the funniest thing I've seen online, if you're a fan of rap and Drake and 21 Savage, I keep seeing these videos of like they're doing cartoon characters of Drake and 21 Savage, like doing little dances.
21.
Yeah, can you do something for me?
Yeah.
So that was pretty funny. I think I sent it to you because we
Yeah.
was like singing a song. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, that was the funniest thing I've seen.
What about you, Deanna?
I've been seeing like the way people show up to Walmart videos. It's really bizarre and ridiculous, some of the things people wear to Walmart. It was a lady who just had on a pair of pants, but she like pulled the pants up over her boobs as if it was a tube top.
Girl, you lied to me.
It's like, and the caption was like, why waste money on shirts when you can just tuck them in your pants?
No. I saw a video and it was this girl going to Walmart and she had on her bonnet and like she just looked like she's supposed to be in the house. But I guess Walmart didn't have it, so she came back in. Her husband was like, "Where are you going?" She was like, "Walmart didn't have what I was looking for, so I'm going to Target." And he was like, "Well, why did you come back?" So she had to change her outfit to go to Target. So she came out, right. She came out all dressed up, hair there, looking nice to go to Target.
Yeah.
But she went to Walmart looking any kind of way.
Yeah. I find myself for that.
I don't get it.
I don't know. It's so different atmosphere at the Walmart. For me, so Bianca sends me funny stuff every day. One of my friends sends me funny stuff every day. But the funniest thing that I saw recently, there's this mom who's on TikTok and she does wig reviews with her daughter. Her daughter can't be more than like 2 or 3, but she like hypes her little daughter up like, "Oh, you look good," and it'll be like an Elsa wig. But it's really, really funny. They're really, really funny. So I like watching that.
Angela says every store has a certain look.
Right.
Very, very true. Like I would definitely have a different outfit compared to like Walmart and Macy's.
Okay. Macy's, I get it. I get it. Macy's, But still, why are you at Walmart with your
anything goes at Walmart, baby.
Second question. What is the weirdest food you have ever eaten?
That's a hard one. I don't like a lot of weird food. So I would have to say probably okra, because it's like if you fry it, it's good, but otherwise it's slimy and weird. And I'm not a big fan. Sorry for the okra lovers.
That's okay. I know some okra lovers out there like, what?
What's your name?
Yeah, I don't like the slime. So I'm with you.
I'm a texture person too.
Yeah.
But I do like it fried, but I only like the outside of it.
I don't even think I've had okra before.
No.
I haven't tried it. I've seen it, but I don't.
My people are from the South, so that's funny. But no, okra was not one of those things.
Janelle said the weirdest thing she's eaten is chitlins. Chitterlings.
I
was like chitterlings.
Where you from? Chitterlings. Yeah, I heard so bougie on the podcast. Okay.
The weirdest thing I've ever eaten by accident was goat. I was
like, what?
I was with my aunt. Her son's father is from Dominica, so not the Dominican Republic, but Dominica. Okay. And he had made her some meat and rice, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is so good." She was like, "Do you know what you eating?" And I'm like, "Steak, I don't know." And she's like, "It's goat." And I'm like, "What? No." Like,
I definitely look at you differently now. I see you differently.
Listen, it was good though.
Okay.
I promise you it was good.
Okay, I see you a little differently.
I promise you it was good.
Let the goat.
Janelle said goat is good, Bianca.
Thank you,
Janelle.
Janelle. What about you, Deanna?
So I mean, I've had goat, but I don't know if I think that's so weird. But um,
She judging you
I
over
think
your.
well, okay, so I got tricked. I had some squid, but it was like
Oh.
fried and in little rings, so I thought it was like shrimp or something. Um, but my aunt was like, "Yeah, that's squid." So yeah, I got tricked like into eating that.
Okay. For me, it's pig feet. That's it.
That's it. That's the quote.
My father, if he's watching right now, we really recently had a conversation about it because he wanted Savannah to try it, and we were like, "Yeah, you ever tried pickled pig feet?" And my mom was like, "It's like pickles, it's like in a pickled jar, it's pickled meat." And I was like, "Savannah, it's really pig lip, like it's really pig lip." And she was like, "Nah, she couldn't try it." But we did used to eat it at a younger age. I don't think that I could like do it now because of what it is, but
I could never. You remember we used to go to the corner store and they used to have it in a jar, and people
yes,
used to buy it.
yeah,
I just couldn't get with it. I
yeah,
Mm-mm,
couldn't
yeah,
see an animal part and be like, I want that animal part. Like
yeah.
that's just
mm-mm.
not
Same here.
something I could do. Ira
Yes.
said the weirdest thing she's ever eaten was mussels. I've
Okay.
never had
Mm-mm.
that before.
Okay.
Angela said raw calamari. I haven't had that either.
Oh, Angela, you took it. Oh,
The
you took
baby
it there.
ones with the tentacles. Oh,
Oh, I
Mm-mm.
don't
No
know if I
thanks.
can do that.
Gross.
you ate it raw?
Ugh.
You gotta
Oh,
tell us what that
you
was.
gotta tell us more. that I know I just can't get into raw food. I just
Yeah.
it's
So no
scary.
sushi.
So I've had baby sushi. I've
Mhm.
had the tempura where they
Okay.
just throw the hot grease over the meat. So
Mm.
technically
They
it's
kind of
cooked.
cooking it.
Yeah, it's kind of cooked.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
I've had both sushi, tempura, and real sushi, but I don't like it. I mean, some people really love it, but I didn't.
I like the idea of it,
I
but
like the idea of sushi too. I feel like if you can eat sushi, you're different. You're like up there and your food
you're all
choices.
mature.
You're mature. You're a mature
Mm.
eater. Do you like sushi, Janine?
Sushi is not bad. I haven't eaten a lot of it with the raw fish, maybe some salmon. It's not
Mm-hmm.
bad though. I could do
Yeah.
sushi over raw calamari. Ooh, the tentacles.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't do the tentacles.
It was the tentacles for me too.
Yeah, no.
So next question: what tells you most about a person?
Mm. Yeah, I used to say actions, but
Mm.
I think now I would say what people say and what they do when they think no one is watching.
Ooh, that's
Mm,
good.
Yeah,
That's very good.
that
because
is
that's when
fact.
they're their real selves.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Me,
I think that was kind of my answer too. Just I'm a people watcher. Like I'll not stare at you all stalker like, but just kind of like to see how you act or how you handle things
Yeah.
when you think someone isn't paying attention. Kind of tells you about that person because if they'll do it, you know, behind your back, or when they think it's behind your back, what are they really doing behind your back, type
Right.
of thing. So yeah.
Absolutely. I'm gonna agree too, Dion. If I could bump you in this one, I like what people are doing when you're not paying attention, but also too, how people handle stress. That's
Hmm.
really big as well.
Yeah, that's how I was gonna say. To see how people respond under pressure or in stressful
Yeah.
situations.
Mm-hmm.
My dog is trying to jump on the couch. Sorry, guys. He's a little older, so sometimes it takes him a few times tries to get up there.
He's
Uh,
looking for you to help him.
he's looking for me to help him.
Mm-hmm.
he said, "Pick me up."
Yeah.
Deanna.
I said I was gonna say that to see how people respond under pressure, like Shelley said, in stressful situations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Angela came back. She said it was about the calamari.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting. It was my first introduction to different food when I started working with Hispanics many years ago.
Yeah, that was
So,
my experience too. Like when you were, I think when you're around other cultures, you get to try, kind of
mhm.
see what foods taste like. Because I was definitely like a soul food,
Yeah.
Italian, the kind of the normal stuff.
Yeah.
But when I was introduced to other foods from different cultures, I'm like, yeah, they have some good stuff.
They do have some good food.
One
Mm-hmm.
thing
I
that I
will,
did try that people think is weird is cactus, which
Oh.
was prepared by
Why?
a Mexican chef.
Why
Well,
and how? How are we eating cactus?
So,
sounds a little
so
prickly.
our Mexican brothers and sisters prepare cactus very well. Of course, the spikes are not in it. They despike it and they
Okay.
cut it up, saute it like a vegetable, and it has like they cooked it with like
It
onions and
has
tomatoes.
benefits.
Hmm?
It has benefits.
Yeah,
Is it
Oh,
like
okay.
aloe vera?
Google it.
They eat it
That
on the
is
cooking shows a lot.
I'm confused.
I just be like, who's the first person to try it? Like, who's the first person to be like, you know what?
Cactus.
Maybe some cactus.
I'll try
Maybe a
that.
plate of cactus.
I
Who's
never
out
would have
there
thought
doing
of it, but the guy who used to cook at the one of my work locations, like the
Mhm.
chef there, he was making cactus as a side dish. It was
it? Okay,
good.
because Janelle says cactus is not so bad.
That was
Okay.
adventurous.
Okay.
It's
She
very
is.
adventurous.
She is very adventurous.
I don't know. Going back to other cultures, when Pete's had first opened up in I think Lombard, I had took a picture of an octopus and they were
Mm-hmm.
selling octopus and I was like, oh my God, who's eating this? And I
Yeah.
posted it on Facebook and like all of my Hispanic friends were like, we
We
eat it all
do.
the time. It's good. I was like, what?
You should
This
try
isn't normal, guys. This does not look good. But
it.
maybe it's me.
I'm broadening our horizons
I
with that
know.
food this year.
When we start our travels,
Yes.
our international travels, we
Absolutely.
will.
There you go.
What book has had the most impact or is the most memorable in your life?
So you guys may think this is a cliche answer, but I will say the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be my most impactful book ever. But if you want, what else? Like a written book by a person, I would say probably Maya Angelou's book of poetry. Bless you. I had her book of poetry when I was in school, and I would read it and try and figure out, how she did it the way she did. So I loved her books.
Do you have a favorite author too, Janine?
I do. I actually like to read mysteries a lot.
Mm.
So I like Iris Johansson.
Mm-hmm.
She's a big mystery writer. I don't know if I have a favorite. There's so
Yeah.
many good writers out there, and I read a lot. So
Yeah.
I usually don't even remember who's written.
It's just a
Sorry,
good
being
book.
an author, that's probably bad, right?
Hmm. I think the book that has always stayed with me or that I always remember is called The Bluest Eye. I want to say
Oh,
that Toni
yeah.
Morrison wrote it. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
so.
So,
Yeah. That book has always been memorable for me.
mm-hmm.
Although it's kind of sad, but it's about a girl who always dreamed of having blue eyes.
Mm-hmm.
She was a Black girl who always dreamed of having blue eyes, but in the end, the symbolism was her eyes were always blue because of the sad things that she experienced.
Mm-hmm.
So,
What
that
about
was
you,
a good book.
Deanna?
Yeah, I was gonna say the Bible as well. Like, but if I had to think of like a more, I guess, novel type book, um, I liked the book version. Well, the book version went into a lot more detail than the movie of The Color Purple.
The Color Purple is a good book.
Yeah.
I don't know if I read that full book.
Mm-hmm.
I know I started it. I don't know. I don't recall if I read it, the full book.
Yeah. I feel so. The Bible for sure for me is just like the most amazing stories that you can think of. And you can read it, at an age, and then read it again and get something different from it.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I have to, because Deanna's color purple, I have to say like the Roots as my second one.
What?
Queen, I don't know. But it's probably a Terry McMillan. Terry McMillan's Waiting to Exhale, I would probably have to say. Because that was one of my earlier books that I read where it just was impactful, you know. And definitely one of those books that got me into novels.
Yeah,
so.
definitely. Yeah, that was
One
a
of
good
my
book.
faves.
Yeah. So let's get into your book.
Yes.
So my first question for you as the author, was there symbolism in the names of the main characters? So we had Hope, Faith, Joy, and Grace.
Well, definitely some symbolism. I'll just tell you guys the names of the characters kind of came to me. This whole book, the whole process of writing this book, it came to me kind of in a weird way. I think some people would think, but I would just hear them, and I would kind of hear them in my head, and I heard the names Grace, Faith, Hope, and Joy. And when I wrote them down, I didn't know kind of where I was going with the book. But as I went into the stories, I realized that it was truly a journey through each one. And I actually went to the internet and looked up the meaning of each word. Because, we all kind of have our own understanding of what those words mean. But then the stories, it was funny. After I got through them, I realized I know what story is going to go with this name. And so I guess the symbolism is the story of the meaning of that name. So Grace, unmerited help. When we think of faith and your beliefs and what Faith had to believe in to get through what she was going through. So there is some slight symbolism in there, I do believe, although it wasn't planned.
Some of our brew crew chimed in about their favorite books. So Crystal said Michelle Obama's Becoming. I never read that book yet.
Yeah, I have to read that.
And then Angela stated, In the Meantime, had mixed feelings while reading it because it was after a difficult breakup. I felt like she was attacking me because so much resonated. I kind of felt that way in certain parts of this book.
I'm so sorry.
Not attacked, but I was like, been there. Dealt with that. So, yeah.
I think the characters, especially Faith, kind of gave me the better way to handle things. Like I definitely feel like I could take something from each character.
Definitely.
But that story stands out to me as one. But I'll have you answer your question. I want to get in front of your question.
No, you could go with that. So I was also going to ask you, what impact did this book have on you once it was completed? Once you had the chance to look back at it after it was all said and done.
Ooh, this book. So it in the beginning or in the end, where it says like this book is not based on any real characters and the like. This book had a lot of parts of me and people close to me in it throughout it. So when I finished it, it was like an exhale. It was like, wow, all right, it's done. But it wasn't done because I had to reread it and go back through it. And so there are a lot of parts in it that, like, I think Shelley, you said, it just helped you to see, like, how would I handle this situation, or how would I, react if faced with some of these trials again? And even, I'll tell you a really funny thing. When I was writing Joy, I changed her circumstance. And it was weird because somewhere in me, I was like, I don't want her circumstance to be something that could possibly happen to me. Like Joy was a futuristic chapter, kind of looking forward to where's the joy in your life. And when I was writing it, I had to kind of find my own joy before I could write her chapter. And so I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to bring me down. It wasn't going to be heavy, and it has kind of a lighter tone than most of the other chapters.
Gotcha.
Got it.
Do you sympathize with your own characters in the book? I think that's kind of what you were almost leading up to. Like, do you sometimes feel like, I don't want this to happen to them, so let me write it and do it a little differently?
Yes, definitely. Because you know, it's kind of like when you're writing a character and you're developing them, you kind of have to take on kind of. I remember Denzel Washington said when he studies for a role, he like wipes out all his communication with family and he really gets
Yeah.
into it. So it's kind of the same with the character. You get into it and it's like, do I really want that to happen?
Yeah.
Person. But some of it had to happen because it was leading the story in a particular direction. So I didn't protect the characters per se,
Yeah.
but a little maybe at the end.
Yeah. Group, what character related you did everyone relate to the most? So this is for the group.
Who wants to take that first?
I'll take it first. So I think that as far as circumstances and what Joy had going on, I could relate to that. I wasn't, I've been taking care of a sick parent, but definitely my husband, he had diabetes, and thinking about her job and how she bounced around to a few jobs before she landed at something she actually liked. I kind of related to that.
Yeah.
So her circumstances I definitely related to.
Yeah, for sure. For me, Grace, because I feel like her character was kind of learning love. And I feel like the way she handled herself, even when she was emotional about, her relationship, I feel like she handled it right. She kind of was able to gather herself and not allow what her mate did to her totally affect her.
Yeah, break her all the way down.
Yeah. Yeah, so I would have to say Grace.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
I would say a bit of Grace and Joy.
Mm-hmm.
I could relate to both characters.
Iris said Faith's message.
Grace, I would say.
Sorry, Deanna, I think you're on delay.
Oh, okay.
What were you saying?
I was wondering about that actually. No, I was saying that I can relate to both Grace and Joy. Parts of their stories.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm still delayed. So I'm gonna stop talking.
Iris said that Faith's message touched her, so definitely. So just kind of getting into it, guys. Let's do we want to start from the beginning? Do we want to jump around the characters?
So could we do it this way, Jeanine, if you don't mind? Can you explain, that's it, maybe start with Grace first.
Okay.
Could you explain her character, kind of just a brief overview of what happened with her, and then we can get into the conversation and the questions about that particular character?
Sure. Spoiler alert for everyone who didn't read it. So Grace is the story of a younger woman who has had some challenges in her parental life. So her father is absent and she's raised by a single mother. She's had a lot of influences around her, friends and support and the like. And she goes off to college and meets the love of her life to this point. But up until this point, she has been guarded and not really let anyone in to love her. And not as a result of that, she actually ends up breaking up with this love of her life and learning to navigate. How does she now put the pieces back together after she's opened herself up, yet she's now retreating, possibly has the possibility of retreating back into not letting people in. So Grace learns, kind of like you said, I love how you said that it's like learning to love, but she was really learning to love herself.
Yeah.
I believe.
Well, she didn't break up. TV. did her dirty, and I really didn't appreciate that. And I was like,
Yes.
younger me can relate to the person that is not really open for love and have all these borders up. Because if you don't see it or know what a healthy relationship looks like, it's kind of hard for you to like let other people in. So I feel like the fact that she did that, let him in and all that stuff, and then he did her like that, I was so pissed.
Yeah, me too. I was a tad bit angry because I'm like, I think that's one thing that females tend to say about males. It's kind of like, look, don't get me all ready for the romantic love story, and then it's like, school is getting hard. Like,
never mind.
never mind,
Never
right?
mind.
And I think what I want to be is understanding of his character in a sense, because if he did feel differently, I mean, he felt differently. He didn't want to, but I feel like he should have handled it a little differently.
Yes. So I think that's the problem that I have with this character and some men.
And some men.
And some men. It is okay that you feel differently. It is okay that you maybe are preoccupied with other things and feel like she deserves more. It's okay. But it's all about how you deliver that message and how you handle it. And just like
going ghost,
being distant and going ghost on someone is not it. And then having the nurse to call and be like, yeah, you like my homie? Like, no, I'm not your homie.
Right.
Like, what do you mean? Like, absolutely not.
The confusion of it all.
The confusion. Because you're sitting there like, well, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
Like, what did I do wrong? Why am I not good enough? Like, why
wasn't I good enough for the conversation to at least come to me and say, hey, look, you know what I'm saying? School is very important for me. Look, we're both young. I really do love you, but I love you enough to say we need to cool this down. Like, why not handle it that way? And I feel like, I'm female, so I can only relate to things that I've been through. I feel like, some males tend to just go the harder route as opposed to the easier route, which
but
would
they
just
think
be
it's the easier route.
Why? But why?
I don't know.
I think, like I said before, which y'all didn't like me saying this, but I think sometimes people just lack communication skills. Like, we have to give some leeway for the fact that he was young. But I can say even a younger me as a female, there were some conversations that I just wasn't willing to have. That probably left some people feeling the same way. Like, she just ghosted me, or what did I do? Or, so I'm not saying that, I'm more partial to the male species, but I think there is sometimes an immaturity in not being willing or capable of having those communications. Because we can look at it at this age and be like, why couldn't he just express himself? But I think that's a real thing that some people just have a hard time with expressing how they truly feel for whatever reason.
Now, here's why I disagree with that, because something got you to this relationship, like some communication. You were able to communicate that I like you and I love you and I love you really a lot, and I can love you enough we're gonna have sex, and I love you. And one day, and now it's Tuesday, and now you don't know how to tell me that you love me. I think that's
that you don't, because I mean, he or anybody may feel like if I say how I truly feel, it's going to hurt this person's feelings. Yes, not communicating is also going to hurt someone's feelings, but they just not willing to say the words out loud that they think are going to penetrate in a harsh way. And instead of dealing with the emotion, like the response that they're going to get from the person, like, I don't want to witness you cry. I don't want to hear your heartbreak. I'd rather just not talk to you at all. Or like I said, for me, sometimes it was just like, if I felt like things were getting too heavy or the person had too much going on in their life, maybe in some regard, I felt like me not wanting to be around or deal with it was somewhat of being a jerk. So if I verbalize, like, you know what, you got some heavy issues going on in your life, and I just want to keep it light. That just sounds like I'm being a jerk. So I just didn't say anything. Like, not that it's okay, but I'm just saying. I just think
I
that's how
just
it
wanted
goes.
to say that Janelle said, I was hoping Grace and DB would make it. And then Janelle also said, and he gave her a promise ring, then dropped the ball on her. Really?
That's what I'm like. You were so mature to go get these promise rings,
Yeah.
and it's just like it's just a cop out, because to me, I feel like the immaturity is somewhere. The immaturity. You're picking your own battles of when you want to be honest. You're like a silent jerk if you don't say anything, but you're a jerk if you say something. So why not just say something?
Yeah,
And
sometimes
so,
I think sometimes people do what they think they should do, or what's the right thing to do, or what's the
Right.
right next step, progressive thing to do, but then they realize that's not really what they want, But
and
there's
I
no
get it.
valid reason why they shouldn't want it. Like, he probably could acknowledge she was a good person. She was good to him. She loved him. She opened herself up. Like, there was no reason beyond him just deciding, I don't want to do this anymore. There was really nothing that she did to be,
But guess what?
at fault.
She could be a nice person over here by herself without you breaking her heart. Leave her alone. If you knew that you in school and school was gonna get hard, or
But
school
see,
is
you
getting
don't know
hard,
everything that's
hold
going to
on, let
happen.
me finish my statement. School is getting hard for him.
Deja vu.
Yes. Hey, Grace.
Hi.
Listen,
Yes.
school is getting real hard. I need to study. I cannot focus on this relationship.
But why?
It's just so much. I really need. I'm like slipping on my grade. I need to focus
But what
here
about
on the
us?
school. I love you,
Mhm.
and I know you love me.
Okay.
And maybe we just pause while we both focus, because you also got some school going on too. We can still hang out and do things, but
Are you
let's
sure?
focus. Absolutely,
Oh
yes.
my
That don't
gosh.
erase any love that I have for
I'm
you.
devastated.
But
This
you
don't
know,
erase any love that I have
It's
for
probably
you.
not going to go that
but
easy for the
honestly,
person to be like,
right.
really? Are you sure? I'm devastated. It'd probably be like gut wrenching tears and
Well, I think
And
that
that's
some
okay.
people have gotten
I'd rather
shot.
have that. I
But
would
I would
rather you
say,
come to me and say these things than have me like, well, what's happening?
Right.
He's distant. I can't talk to him. He's not answering. I don't know what's
It's
going
because
on.
it's like you're projecting onto somebody what you're afraid of.
Mhm.
Like, now I have to hold on to what you're afraid of because you don't want to tell me the truth. Well, whose burden is that? Like, why are you making that my burden? I can't handle something that you want to tell me, so you're afraid to tell me, so you choose to do it this way. Like, that to me is like you're projecting onto somebody what you would want them to how you would want them to react, whether you say it, if you don't say it.
And also, you now have made this person internally crazy, because now they're trying to figure out what's wrong with them, what they did, what they could have changed to make this a different situation, because you won't even sit down and have this conversation initially. I mean, he eventually said it, but like the initial thing was like, well, what's going on? What's happening? What am I doing wrong? But
Right.
we could probably have this conversation for hours.
Well,
you
we
know what?
do
I
have
love
to
the
dedicate.
debate. I love the debate, ladies, and I think what you have to think about. Somebody said age, right? How mature are we at 19, 20, 21? We're in college to have these difficult conversations. I mean, we know people who are in their 40s and 50s who can't have these conversations. And
Right.
it's really about like and I think one of the reflection points is like, if you get into a relationship, how vulnerable are you? How transparent are you willing to be with that person, good or bad? Because that's how you end on a good note. I say, if you do decide we're not going to work out, then what's the conversation that we have that leaves us both feeling all right in the end? I mean, we're not going to be happy if we're breaking up, but there's a way to do it. I agree that leaves you feeling a little more settled.
So Ira said that's how college is sometime, and she also said Grace's story definitely needs a book too.
Yes.
So
it's coming.
So let's move on to Faith. So Jeanine, can you give us the overview of Faith?
So Faith's story is a story of faith for real. Faith's story is the story of a young woman, middle age in her 30s, who is married to a man, Lucas, who is the less than ideal husband. That's a nice way to say it. They've been married, they have a child, and Janine is basically, not Janine, I'm sorry, look, I'm talking about me. Faith is basically put her life on hold to allow what she thinks should be right to happen, to have this marriage, to have a child and support her husband. But she realizes she wants to pick back up her love of journalism and get back into the workforce with a less than supportive husband who also has some tinges of abuse in there. And so Faith really has to step out on faith to take a journey to try and live the life that she wants to live and risk her marriage, risk the quote unquote what she thinks is the perfect life to do so.
Mhm.
Iris said, I really wanted to fight Lucas. Janelle said, yeah, Lucas got on my nerves.
Completely.
I feel like she just totally lost her voice. It's just she would do things just to appease him
Mhm.
and just go along with it because she didn't want to rock the boat. And it's like, girl, where's your voice?
Mhm.
Like, speak up, do something.
Right.
Definitely.
Well, I
Yeah.
think that was because she was in an abusive relationship, and maybe initially she didn't see her way out, so she was trying to minimize the abuse. Not that that's a good thing. I'm not built for that. It wouldn't work. But I think people who do find themselves in abusive relationships don't necessarily plan to be there, but once they're
No.
there, sometimes either something has to happen to make them snap out of it, or come to themselves and be like, this ain't it, I gotta get out of this situation. But
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
she definitely was just trying to keep things as mild as possible to probably, I mean, one, to not suffer from the abuse, but two, to try to have some like peace in her home for her child and all that. But it
But
was
is it
definitely,
peace?
hmm?
Is it peace? Is it
No,
really
It's a
peace?
piece. It's
no,
not.
no, no. I'm like, but yeah,
No, there's no
definitely
peace in
it
that.
was a terrible situation, But I think
Yeah.
it's it's something that people do, you know.
You
There
know what I
are
think about
people
when I
like
think
her
of
that
when I think
just
of Faith, I think of Lucas. Like I think about how we say people send their representatives. You
mm-hmm,
know,
Mhm.
when you meet them, I can't believe that Lucas was that person when she met him.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
but she
I
got
think
schooled by the rep.
yeah, she said a few months in is when it changed, or
Mhm.
and I get it that it changed, and I don't know. It's just kind of I do understand that sometimes people will be like, well, I'm just gonna go along with it or do these things to appease him, but at some point, it's not keeping the peace if you're unhappy. If you're sitting
It's like
there
a
and you're unhappy,
caged bird.
exactly, and
Mhm.
you're unhappy.
Absolutely.
So my question to everyone was gonna be, um, about Faith losing her voice. Without her renewed position at work, would she have gained it back? Would she ever have,
Ugh.
woke up one day and was like, you know what, Lucas, XYZ?
Mhm.
Good
I don't think
question.
she would have. I think she was afraid of him. So
Yeah.
she might have been bound by fear for another 20 years. I mean, some people say, like, as you hit different milestones in age as well, that you
Hmm.
become a different person. So maybe if she would have felt some new awakening at 40 and been like, what am I doing? But
Right.
at 30 or 32, she was afraid of him and she wasn't going to, challenge him too much.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
good
I was
question.
happy that that was a part of her story because I think that was definitely like the lock and key that she needed to get herself out of that
Hmm.
situation. I think for many people who are unhappy in relationships, I think they are in a sense are searching for some type of outlet,
Hmm.
something. Some people tend to drink their way, and then they would have just had both of them drinking to get their way out of
Yeah.
it. So I was happy that she had something to kind of spread her wings and fly. Because without that, Jesus, I
And
was unhappy for.
Angela said we need Lucas' address. She and her ride it down, man.
roll up on Lucas.
Yeah.
But
So-
I think about when you talk to somebody, you guys said, Shelly, you said, when you're in an abusive relationship, and I do know some women who have gone through domestic violence. I think part of it is the shame as well, like of having to actually admit you're in that situation. It takes a lot of strength to say,
It does.
I'm in this and this is what's happening to me, because most people will judge you, and that could have been a barrier for her.
And even like when she broke down and told her mom was like, I knew you weren't happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
don't we usually know when people are in bad relationships that everybody can see it but them?
Yeah.
And he didn't like her mama didn't like him,
Yeah.
That was a
like, he
sign.
coming over here
Right.
to see his daughter. So I want to play a game of what if scenario.
With these characters?
Yes.
Okay.
If her husband had not moved out, do you think she would have stayed with him?
You know what? That is a really good question, because Jeanine, I think you wrote that really, really good, brilliantly, where you kind of left that up for us to determine. Now, I don't know. When she came back, I felt like that was her first thinking, but I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that.
I don't know.
I can't answer that.
I was waiting. I was chomping at the bit, like, oh, she gonna set it off when she go home. Like, it's gonna be a wrap. She gonna,
But she was a little sad, right?
When he left?
Yeah, when he left.
I think so.
Yeah.
I feel like she was. Which I kind of didn't quite understand that. Maybe it's because of the way he left. He just kind of bounced
up and left. Yeah.
I think you can't just stop loving somebody. You can't just be like, all right, even though he was a monster to her, I think in some instances she still cared for him.
And I think people, grieve a relationship when it ends, even if it's not the best relationship. It's what they've been familiar with, or what they was maybe hopeful for was going to change. Now it's, solidified that, yeah, it's changing, but not for the better, or it is for the better, but you may not see it that way when it's just over. Like,
Yeah, I heard a therapist say that recently. Our church is doing a series on home for the holidays, but it's healing your hurt, basically. And one of the comments that she said was like what you just said, Deanna, is that sometimes when we're in these situations and we realize that there may be a loss there. She said grief shows up even in breakups, in divorce. Like, you go through the stages of grief, even in those instances. So she may have been sad because it's still a loss, whether it's something you're happy about or not. It's a change of life. It's a change of your way of life,
Ira said no way that she would have stayed with him. And she said, I don't think she was sad. He didn't even see their daughter while she was gone, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. I think that alone too would make you not care about not love a person based off how they treat your child. And if that person, if that's the father of the said child, to me, I'm like, how can you? It would make an easier process if that was the case.
It would definitely make it easier for me. One, getting out into the real, not the real world, but getting out to the world. And she went to Egypt and she's living her dream. And low key, I thought she was gonna make a romantic connection with Chris, was his name, the Martina's ex. So I was hoping they made a little romantic connection.
This sounds like Faith needs a part 2.
So this is how I played it out, right? This is the game with what if. I was like, she was gonna go back home and play it cool, stack her bread, leave Lucas, and she was gonna do what he did, just pack it up and go, or either go to her mom's because he wouldn't come over there. And then she was gonna have a either romantic relationship with Chris or what was the Jonathan, because I feel like he was kind of giving her the vibes a little bit. But if she hooked up with Kristen, Martina, is that her name?
Yeah,
she would have been mad because they dated.
yeah,
and it would have been like,
Jonathan was definitely a possibility, but you can't where you
yeah.
right? Okay, so we left that alone.
Yeah, for the sake of professionalism.
There we go. There we go.
It happens sometimes, though.
You got more what ifs?
No, not for that chapter.
Okay.
So tell us about Hope.
So Hope is the story of a young woman who is raising a child on her own and meets a gentleman, Anthony, and they immediately hit it off. They become an item. It's wonderful. It's all these things that it's cracked up to be. But then Anthony, the gentleman that she meets, is kind of trying to find his own way in life and makes a choice to join the service. In that time, he also, in the time that they're dating, that he ends up ghosting her, and she finds out that he has had a whole nother life and has gotten married to a whole nother person, and then goes off to the service and keeps in touch after a lot of distance between them. And then some tragedy strikes. I won't totally spoil it. So.
Yeah,
girl. Listen. Anthony.
Go ahead. Tell us how you really feel.
Can I just ask everybody a question?
Sure.
Well, no, I'll hold that question, but I'll ask it in a minute.
Okay.
Because maybe everybody didn't fully read the chapter and need a recap. So he had vibes for it. They went to college together or whatever, and he came back being all suave with her. So he knew she was going through a divorce. She had a child. I really just still struggle with this whole why exactly.
Yeah.
Why build somebody up, get all in their life, and then be like, all right, it's been fun.
I have to go.
I have to go.
I don't want to leave, but I gotta go right now. Why do this
right
to someone?
Yeah,
I think because people are selfish and they do what feels good for them at the time being, and they don't think long term. They're in the moment of this feels good right now, and then sometimes people, for whatever reason, I don't know, they get bored, they change their mind. Somebody else walk by with a big butt, whatever. They switch up. I mean, it doesn't make it nice, and it doesn't make it okay, but it just is like people just are temperamental sometimes.
Crystal said that part. I get people being temperamental. I totally understand that, but
just don't be temperamental with my time. I want to set the type of bar where it's like, look, okay, just look. You have your feelings and your way of thinking, and I have mine. Share it with me as we're going through this journey. Don't close yourself. Don't start closing the box. Leave it open. If I come across something that I don't like about you, then it's my decision to leave. I can leave, you can leave. The door is always open. There's no locked doors here. And I will never understand that aspect of selfishness, because it's like, be selfish, but then when it's time to don't
Iris said they had some chemistry. I had to clutch my pearls. They definitely did. So it's like Iris. You build somebody up. We got all this chemistry. I see you. I give you a Christmas gift. Talk to you and see you on December 28th, and it is the crickets.
Crickets.
How? You give me the crickets for a long period of time, and then it's like, hey, nothing happened? Why are you on my phone right now?
Right, and it's very day and night. It's just very one day everything was going good, and the next that it wasn't, and just
What's
Oh my
funny, their story is more common than we think.
No,
Oh
And
I know it
yeah,
is.
I'm
yeah.
like,
I
these
think
things happen all the time.
I
it's
think
so
when
many
me and Bianca
men.
tend to have these feelings, it makes people say like, "Well, this is stuff that happens every day, and that's really cool." But it's like good things happen every day too, and it's like
Right.
like good people are out here every day too, and it's like so to be the better person. And I think the world would just go around if people just be honest with women.
And then it ain't even that he was unsure. Iris said he's unsure about his life. It
Some men
ain't even that he's just
Yeah, he
unsure.
definitely
You
was.
got a whole wife.
got a
You
whole
went and got all the way married. You went and said, I do, I do. You went and walked in front of the judge, the pastor, or the officiants and said, I want to be with this woman for the rest of my life. Meanwhile, you got me back texting you, trying to figure out what's going on with you, and you not answering my calls and texts. And you then got all the way married.
Yeah,
all the way.
all the way.
I thought of remember Vesta's song "Congratulations."
Yes.
Mhm.
And I low-key was mad at Dan for knowing
Yeah,
and not saying nothing.
Oh
well, do you think
yeah,
he had some loyalty too?
I think he just didn't know
Anthony?
what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was a little just like, I don't know what to do. Like he was scared. But tell me. Tell me.
Yeah, tell me,
Say
tell me,
Tell me.
Tell
Like, look. He's married now.
Yeah, that's a good question for the crew.
Do y'all want to know?
Do y'all want to know?
Crystal says, this has happened to me several times. Like just the other day, a guy who goes to me DM me to say he missed me. Oh, when did you get engaged? Get the heck out of here! Why? Where did you come from, Mr. Guy? Like you ghosted me. Now you're like, when did I get engaged? Do you think I was waiting on you?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm like, oh, here's my phone. I'm just gonna wait. He's gonna call me one day.
Right. Congratulations.
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 Yes.
So I would say men, or I've definitely known men who are like that. I think they are very territorial. I feel like once you've been there, you're always there. Yes, I guess you just sitting waiting on them to come back into your life because they feel like they could just pop up whenever and pick
So
up where
many
they left
years
off. I mean,
later.
it's definitely a
Yes.
fool's way of thinking, but their arrogance, their ego, whatever, really makes them feel like she probably thinking about me, missing me, waiting on me to call her. Let me see what she up to, because of course she ain't been doing nothing but waiting on me. But yes, I mean it's stupid.
But
At this
you know
point.
what? In talking to a lot of other women, because these stories are kind of put together from a lot of different women's lives, there are so many immature people. You know, people who
Yeah.
are just kind of tap dancing around what a relationship is. And their philosophy is, I'll keep a few and see. You know, my grandmother always told me, date a lot of people till you find the one that you want. But
I agree with that.
date, not sleep with, marry
Mhm.
all the people until you find the one you want. And I've heard a lot of women say that, like they have had men come back, like nothing happened. Hey, baby, what's up? And it's like, huh? Did you
Right.
forget? You know, but it's so common. I've heard it a lot with our like middle-aged men right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that
It's
scares
all
me
of
of
them,
getting into the dating.
young, middle, old. They all crazy.
Iris
But
says she hears that a lot from her single friends, and that scares me because eventually I'm gonna get out here and start dating, and I have no interest in anybody wasting my time. Because if you ghost me and come back, I'm gonna act like I've never met you before. I'll be like, I'm
They
sorry,
are the ghosts.
I'm sorry, and you are.
like, who are you?
When did we talk?
And you
Oh,
are nice to meet you.
Yeah.
nice to
If
meet
they're
you.
playing the role
Like,
as one of our
Right. And
women.
I mean, sometimes it's true. Like if I haven't talked to you in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and then you just appear on my phone, what makes you think your number is still saved in my phone? I would really have to be
Yeah.
like, well, who is this? Because I didn't, deleted your
And I'm
number,
actually
had
good
3
at
more phones since the last time I talked to you. Like,
right.
Yeah.
But
I'm
we're
and then it'd
actually
be
speaking,
like,
you know what, we're
then it'd be
speaking
like, what
from
you mean? Who
mature
is this?
women.
Like, I mean, who is this? What is
You know what? But we're speaking as mature women, Casper. But
I understand Casper.
it's a lot of ladies out there, I hate to say it, who are so okay with this in and out.
Mm.
And I think that at some point, you know, women, we have a power too.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I know
Absolutely.
they got stuff between their legs, but we got stuff too. And if
Yeah.
we just accept it, then they have no reason to change because it's going to be somebody who's okay with it.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I was going to say that too. Part of the reason why people do these type of things, because there are some people who let them get away with it. So then when you're the one who, you know, it's like, no, that's not going to work, then it's like you're tripping because.
And that's okay that you think I'm
Yeah,
tripping. Have a
right.
good day. Like,
Have a good day.
quite all right. You know, I really struggle with her kind of taking them back.
Right. She did.
Kind
She
of taking
did.
him back in a sense after all of that, because now he's no longer with the woman. I was tripping. I don't know why I did it, and I still love you.
Well,
I don't
then
know how we
that's
got
also
there.
But
saying
did she take them back?
Kinda.
I mean, she kind of entertained it. She entertained it for sure. She started talking to him. I think she probably kept her, you know, she was probably cautious, but I think she definitely left the door open to the foolery, like Deanna sometimes says. Like I think she left the door open to possibly, you know, be hurt again, because when it all happened, when what happened to him at the end happened, she was devastated. I mean, she still loves him.
Spoiler alert. So,
Oh.
you know, he went away to the military, right? She's planning a going away party. I mean, a coming back party for him. And he
Yeah,
was
like, why
like,
are you giving your money and your time to a coming back party?
he disappeared again for weeks, and she didn't know what was happening.
Right.
Then all of a sudden he messages her like, "Oh, I'll be back in a few weeks." She said, "Okay, let me know when you coming back." And he gets hit by a car in their neighbor and like in their city. When did you come back, sir?
When did you come back?
When did you come back?
Yeah.
What? His communication
was horrible.
Which lets me feel like
I thought at some part in the story he really didn't go to the military, and I was like, I guess he's
same thing. I was like, did he lie about that?
So he's a compulsive.
And I mean, we know there's some liars out there.
Yes, we don't say this to say that we're shocked. Like, I'm not shocked.
No. I was about to say, you know, probably more than one person that I said, like, he lies so much, I don't even believe him if he tell me it's Tuesday. I got to go look at the calendar and check for myself. I mean, almost every word out your mouth is a lie, you know.
In transparency, I'm going to share a personal story.
Okay, let's hear. I'm excited.
So my son's father went to the army or wherever he did, and you know, I had my son or whatever, and I thought this fool was still wherever he was stationed. Why was he in town? Just like my cousin saw him on the bus. Was like, oh, I saw so and so on the bus. I'm like, what? No, he in wherever he was stationed. 23 years later, I don't remember. And I'm like, so you mean to tell me this man is in town?
Wow.
Yeah. So
I like the Irish
a little bit. When did you get here? When did you get here?
Don't yell at me.
I know. I'm sorry. Flashback.
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Let me bring it back in because I was just having some moment. Anyway, question for the group.
Okay.
If an ex that did you wrong died, would you be hurt, sad, attend the funeral, snotting, crying?
I would like somebody else to answer that question to not be judged. I'll let someone else go first.
I think that's a maybe. I don't know, because I think you don't really know how you're gonna respond when you hear that someone died until it happens. So you may, you know, feel some level of grief or whatever for what was, not what is, or for what could have been if he had have just been right or whatever. I think sometimes we're surprised at how our emotions come up. And maybe too, you might have been hoping that this person was gonna apologize for wronging you or something, you know. So I think emotions can surprise you. You might, on a regular logical thinking day, be like, hell no, I wouldn't care if that fool died. But then when you actually hear the news that someone's died, it could bring about, emotions that you didn't expect. So I think it's a maybe.
Iris said she would. Janelle said it would be unfortunate, but not sure I would attend the funeral. Sorry.
You don't have to apologize.
I don't know why that made me laugh, but
it depends on how much you love the person or what, like how it ended, or where it. I mean, we've all had some bad exes, and I know there were probably some times I wish some not so nice things on my exes, but I don't want them to die. But I probably would go. I don't know how emotional I would be. I love Crystal's comment.
I need my last maintenance payment before he can die.
Yeah, you're like, wait a minute. Yeah. I don't know if I would
if I was in Hope's shoes, I would definitely feel a little like sad, like, oh man, like that's very unfortunate that he died. I think I could go to work the next day. Like,
you would have signal bereavement.
Oh no!
I don't think I would be uncontrollably like I can't go to work the next day, or that I would even attend the funeral. But I think you might drift on a memory of what was or what could have been, and feel some type of way. But it wouldn't
Hope
be.
Had a lot of hope.
Yeah,
for sure. She absolutely
did. You answer that question?
I didn't answer. I guess it all kind of depends. Like, how long, like, am I still hurt? Would I need to be a pallbearer? Like, what would be, like, do I have an announcement to make? Like, how involved do I have to be in this?
Are you gonna get up and take the mic?
Right. Like, how involved
you got 2 minutes.
Because there are those people too that you'd be like, oh my goodness, why is she taking the mic? But
I think you gotta show me a video of this girl singing 7 Days, the Mary J. Blige song.
Oh my god.
You gonna get up there and sing 7 Days?
I don't know.
Monday,
Tuesday. People get on the mic and you like, please, somebody take that mic. Like, all I want to say was.
I think some people probably also go just to make sure that person is in the casket. So I don't know how mature I would be given the situation, and sometimes it's probably just best to stay home. Just stay home. Take your PTO and don't work for that day.
Talk to somebody that went, be like, oh dang, how was the funeral? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That was the comment.
That's it. Yeah.
So moving right along, tell us about Joy.
So Joy is the story of a middle child. She has twin brother and sister who are very, very successful doctors. She has an older sister who's in a law firm, and then there she is trying to find her way in life. She's kind of that one person who always comes to the family gathering and gets the questions, what are you doing in life? Who are you dating? And she's still trying to find herself. She is a after school director. She directs some programs and she thinks she's found her niche and things are kind of starting to fall into place. She's gotten her own place finally. She's kind of like that late bloomer in the family who never gets it together, but she finally gets it together and finds out that her father has been diagnosed with diabetes and is in need of surgery. And so she finds herself going from being the child who's kind of isolated and trying to find herself to becoming really a caretaker. And as many of us are in this stage in life, I'll say this stage, middle age, our parents are getting older. She really grapples with seeing her mother's vulnerability and also seeing how much her mother has contributed and her parents have contributed to the family, and how they have now kind of reversed roles. So Joy goes through that journey, and in the process, she has dated someone who she has walked away from because they weren't quite together as well. But Joy is on her journey to find herself. She deals with some work issues and things. And so it's really her understanding of who she is and what her role is at this point of her life.
Mhm.
I think it's okay for you not to have it figured out. Like her younger siblings knew they were going to be doctors. Her sister is an attorney. Her brother, he, is into art and, all that good stuff. I think it's okay not to know. Like a lot of people don't know and end up, I'm going to do this and just do it and end up unhappy, and because they just are forcing themselves to do something. So I think it's okay to, bounce around till you find you're happy.
Absolutely. Like the pressure. I think for sure the middle child syndrome is a thing. My both of my parents are middle children, and then my middle brother, the second oldest.
Okay.
I think they have a bond that me and my older brother don't tend to have, but I think that yes, it's definitely okay to not know what that thing is to do, especially. But I think that the pressure of like your youngest being doctors and the older, having their aspirations as well. But I think for her, it made it easier for her to be able to be that caretaker because she didn't have those responsibilities that her siblings had.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I think it made her just as important to
Absolutely.
the family. You know what I mean? Because
For
I think
sure.
sometimes people may struggle like, I'm not as important because I don't have this big title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree.
And she was really trying to live up to their expectations of her, which so many of us do in our families. Your family wants you to do this, or at this age you should be married, at that age you should have this established. And I like what you said, Bianca. You have to have the freedom to find your own happy, however long it takes you.
Yep. I think also society plays a factor on that. So many women are like, so when are you gonna have kids? You ain't got no babies yet. When you gonna have kids? Or when you gonna get married? You're not married yet.
I get that a lot.
That it's like, I will when I'm there.
Right.
I'll let you know. Maybe.
Yeah.
And social media doesn't help.
Yeah, social media. I think social media adds a different pressure to people because they see these images and feel like that's what they have to live up to. Unfortunately, what a lot of people don't know is sometimes what you see on Facebook ain't what's happening in real life.
behind. Yeah.
So
yeah, the happy pictures and stuff like that doesn't really move me. It's like off Facebook. If I catch you off of social media and it looks like that, then yeah, of course, that's something you want. But yeah, I don't want anybody else's life because you don't know what you're getting behind that smile, behind that picture.
I think I joined. I was a late to Facebook person. I kind of refused social media initially because I'm like, what am I on there for? I'm a little old lady on certain aspects of life. But then when I got on there, I thought that
I'm like,
when I got on there, I thought that what people were posting was real because why are people lying? Like, why are you on here lying about it? But the more I started realizing that a lot of people just front for no reason. It's like there's no point.
It seems like that takes too much energy to create these personalities and fake lives, and
it's like your relationship's so perfect, and then next week, you setting everything on fire. It's like, I love this show. Like, what happened in this last week?
And it's like nobody even asked you, so why are you painting, this picture? Nobody even cares really, but But
I always wonder because I have some friends who they post everything, every feeling, every thought. And it's like, do you have a friend you could confide in and tell the world? I just think that might be a good move.
yeah.
So I have to ask this about, and maybe I'll ask you, Jeanine, what was up with her sister? Like, it seemed like there was some competition there. I didn't quite understand what was happening with her, and she's like an attorney, and she's doing these things. Like, what was her deal with Joy?
I'm going to ask you, what did you think her deal
I
was?
don't know. It's almost like. So this is what I was kind of thinking. I think sometimes that her sister was jealous of the fact that she was so free and got the opportunity to figure it out. And her sister was the mom, the mom of the kids. So she had to do these things and had to take care of everybody. And now she has to be the attorney, big title. And her sister had the freedom to figure life out. So I think there was some little jealousy in regards to that. But when Joy was faced with, she was the person who had to step up for the family. I think her sister kind of was like, no, it should be me. And it was like weird. Like, girl.
And that was the older sister, right? Yeah, I think she probably felt like that was more so what she should have been doing. And that's funny too. Like I would want to be that for my parents. I would want to step in and say, I know my parents are probably like, she's always putting us in a nursing home. I don't. I do. I would want to take that role. So I would probably just tell my brothers, like in the door, like, look, I got this. Let me handle this. Y'all come, when you can, but let me handle this role. And so I think it's important to have that open, honesty conversation with your siblings when it comes down to your parents. Like it should be, this is what we would like to happen. But I think some people do fight over their parents.
Too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ira says she was jealous of not being needed. And some people need that validation to feel like, they're important. I don't know. It's like, that doesn't make you any less than because someone else is doing the role. It's like,
play your part.
Come here when you can.
Yeah. You guys hit it on the head. I mean, it could be interpreted a lot of different ways, but think about the oldest sibling. You're always right there. Mom needs you to do this, and mom needs you to take care of that. And so there's this weight of responsibility. We see it. I see it all the time in my students, because they are the big sister, big brother, and now your job is to take care of everyone down here. So you don't get the chance to be free. You don't get the chance to be a kid. There's a formal term for it. I can't think of it right now, where they actually, it's a kind of like a mental health challenge where you have stepped into the adult role as a child, but you don't have the emotional capacity to deal with it. So I think that she was harboring some of that from childhood, but also jealous of the fact that, like Iris said, I really believe that she was codependent. She had become codependent on this need to take care of people. And so if you don't need me, where's my value? And we can do that as women sometimes, right?
Yeah.
I think people in general do that. I think, I've seen where some men in a relationship feel like, if you don't need me, like, what am I here for? Also, people want what?
No, that's really true for men too. Like, I don't know, like just say it, just talk. What's your mental health issues? Because it's like, communication just goes so far. It's a waste of time when you don't communicate.
I think even if they communicate that, if that's an eternal thing, how can you stop it? Like, what? Obviously, therapy or something.
Therapy.
How can you stop it?
Yeah.
But I think for her sister, it's just she's always had that role. So how does she
not feel needed or not feel that way?
But I also think that Joy kind of revalidated her because she needed her help in the end.
Yeah.
Like she decided she wants to do her own like after school program. So she reached out to her sister And also, her sister was trying to hook her up with that doctor. Like,
Right.
call the doctor.
Yeah, I was hoping that she was going to hook up with the doctor.
Yes, I wanted her to call the doctor, Jeanine.
Well, maybe she could call the doctor the next day.
Fine, I did
Julie
see.
said, don't tell me what to do with these characters.
No, I was
more to come on Joy.
I wanted her to hook up with the doctor, but I was purposeful in not doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think so many times we can tie our own validation into being in a relationship.
Right.
And
Okay.
I wanted her to be validated and find her joy on her own. And so if you come in, like, honestly, in a relationship, if we're both in a good place and we come together, then we kind of explore our own joy together. But if I'm looking for you to bring that, there's going to be some resentment on one of those sides sooner or later. So I was intentional about that, but maybe the doctor will come up in the next book.
Iris said, yeah, I was thinking the same. So there's going to be a next book. Let's talk about that.
So can I ask you guys a question? Maybe we could throw out to the Brew Crew.
Yes.
Whose story do you want to see continued?
I would like to get more into Faith and what happened after that. Mm-hmm. Faith has so much story left. She has so much story left. What about you?
Go to Deanna.
Deanna, what about you?
I agree. Faith as well.
Okay.
Brew Crew, Iris, Janelle, Crystal.
Iris
said Grace.
Okay.
Grace does have a lot of life ahead of her. She's still a college student.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be interested if her and DB circle back.
Yes, because I had a feel there was one line that led me to believe that could possibly be the case. Because I think you said something like, he's gonna come back, or he's a part of my life in some way, or I've known him forever, or something to that effect. But yeah, I would say for her, because not my experience, but she had a father that left, and I'm interested to see on how if she was able to kind of not get over, but how she's able to handle love with other men, given what happened with her dad.
And also now this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
if you're used to people leaving, or does she stay close? But yeah, I would want to see what happens with that story.
I love it.
So I have to go because my ride is here to pick me up. But I don't want to be like the people that just went ghost in the book. So.
Thank you, friends.
So, bye, everybody.
Bye, Deanna.
Bye, Deanna. Okay, so far we got Grace and Faith.
Crystal said, "Hope, I think."
With the crying emoji. Oh, you want to see Hope get her life together?
Yeah,
that would be. Where does Hope go from here? I don't know.
I think for every character that really could be said, like, where do they go? You know what I'm saying? I definitely feel like what you did for each one, you kind of let them handle the situation on their own. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
No one relied on somebody else to bring their faith, hope, joy. Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
I think so. I'm trying. I think that's what it was.
Iris says, so everybody, basically.
Yes, everybody.
So everybody. Okay.
Yeah, everybody. And I feel like you wrote it in a way where everybody still had their spotlight. But yes, I definitely want to know what's next for each.
Janelle said Grace.
Grace, okay. All right. Well, the way it's ambiguous in the end, as you can tell, because there is an epilogue. So I have already started writing.
Oh, that's very, very good.
But I had not decided. Initially, I was looking at Grace and Joy, but now we have some faith and hope thrown in there. So maybe we'll just see where all the ladies go next.
Yeah. Well, I gave you my synopsis for Faith already. So
yeah.
Yeah, we definitely want to see. So what's up next with you as a whole? Books, touring. What's next for you?
Come on, Netflix. Okay.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. When I'm reading books, I always tend to think of what those characters look like.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I'll let you finish. Sorry.
I definitely I do want to do another book at the signing. A very dear friend of my mother's who actually did my first marriage, my only marriage. But he told me, he said it would be just a loss if you didn't publish another book. And I said, yes, sir. You know, when the mandate is put on you by the man of God, I was like, yes, sir. So I am definitely looking to publish another book. I think this story, I've had some people reach out to me about this story and just how they could see sharing it with their child to let them know kind of like these are some of the dangers that could lie ahead. So I've thought about, I really would love for it to get to someone who could create a visual. I would love a movie or something like that, a Netflix special, 4 parts. But I'm working on book 2. I am still in the education field. I'm an educational administrator, and I am looking to further my career a little bit this year. So I'm still here. My daughter is graduating from college
Congratulations.
in May. Woo!
Absolutely.
Well, part 1, because they got to do some other stuff, and then she's going to school for some other things. So I'm busy. I just am. I'm leaning on God and just letting Him lead me where He would like for me to go. I have started the business. So I've been writing some curriculum. I'm a writer at heart, so I write curriculum, but I also write books. And so I really just want to explore some of these other avenues so that I don't have to do a 9 to 5 forever.
Absolutely, Jeanine, you are talking my talk. But keep talking to Netflix. I feel like that's something that can happen for you. But the way God works, He was like, Netflix will give you Netflix, but Hulu too. So
Crystal said, "Call me, girl. I think she want to be in a special."
Crystal might have some ideas for the book.
Yeah. But yeah, any I think this could definitely even be on. I was just watching one of those Lifetime Christmas movies.
Oh yeah.
So it could definitely be one of those, surrounded by Christmas time.
Absolutely.
So yes, it could
The
definitely
Christmas
be out there.
edition. I like that.
No smell like smoke with a chimney.
Oh,
Santa.
yeah.
I'll be right there, popcorn, watching my little Lifetime Christmas movie.
I love that.
I'm gonna have you consult with me when we doing the playwright.
Yes. So
bring it to life.
it was definitely a pleasure reading this book. Thank you so much for allowing us to dig into it. It was definitely fun to talk all about it.
Absolutely. We can't wait till you come back and we can talk about more books with you. So, you're stuck with us.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much. This was amazing. The conversation was great.
Yeah.
It was different than the last one that I had, so I love it.
We're different.
You guys are awesome. And the Brew Crew, thanks for chiming in.
Yes, guys, thank you so much. I love it when everybody speaks their piece and has their word heard. And y'all remember, y'all can come up on the screen too if you want to. So,
that's right.
But thank you everybody for joining us, and thank you so much, Jeanine, for being here.
Thank you, Shelly and Bianca, and Deanna in her absence.
Yes.
Love it. Okay.
All right, Jeanine.
Yes, we will see you soon.
See you soon, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.
That was fun.
That was a lot of fun. That was a great time. It was very insightful. I don't think I realized until now what exactly she was doing with the characters towards the end of their stories, but now I definitely get it.
Yeah.
I think it's so important to find your, whether it be your piece. I'm adding piece to the book, but whether it's what you want to stand on, so when you are going through things throughout life, whether it be relationships, co-workers, your jobs, everything, it's like you can handle these things on your own. It's
Absolutely.
not necessary to bring somebody else in those situations,
Or that you need help.
or that you need help. Yeah.
I mean, definitely get the help if you need it.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes, you know, leaning into your own understanding
Absolutely.
or God's understanding.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about smelling like smoke.
Boom.
Look what I be doing.
You walk through the fire, you ain't smell like smoke.
You walk through the fire. You didn't even have to smell like it. You didn't have to do it.
Yep.
Yeah. So very, very great book. I can't wait to have her back to hear more about these characters. And if you have not picked up the book, you can get the book at don'tsmelllikesmoke.com. Jeanine just had a sale on the book, so you can check that out and see if that's still there. But yes, if you haven't picked up the book, Amazon, you can get it on as well. But this is a great read. Definitely like a holiday. I enjoy reading it over the holiday when things are just quiet and cozied up with a cup of Cafe Coco Latte.
Coffee. Get your coffee, cafecocolatte.com.
Absolutely.
We just released 2 new roasts.
Yes.
So we have our Ethiopian dark roast
and
our ebony dark roast, which is a Honduras coffee.
Yes. So there's us online. And then we also had some news where we just recently were a part of our very first pop-up, and that was absolutely amazing. And a big reason why I tell Jeanine to keep talking about Netflix is because we went on our very first pop-up. We didn't know how many people were going to be there. Things started off at a really steady pace, and then boom, 200 people into the door. So, you know, I feel like when you kind of speak about the great things that God can do for you, he will show up for you. But if you give God room, he will essentially move mountains for you. So that was such a great opportunity. But we have another pop-up that we're also going to be involved with on December 11th.
Yes. So this is the Noor Holiday Market. And it'll be in Chicago.
Yep.
So some of the same people will be there as far as vendors.
Yes, I was so excited to see a lot of the vendors that we were able to vend with last time at the last pop-up that we did. A lot of those vendors are coming back. So we're making friends, you know, with other businesses. And what we're able to then be able to do for you guys is to bring those vendors here, you know, and highlight those businesses of the week. It's so important to network. Network has gotten us to meet so many people.
And also you get to experience our coffee live because we actually brew the coffee.
Yes.
Not only do we sell it, we're brewing the coffee. So it's like you're in our cafe.
Yes.
Even though we don't have the doors quite open yet, but we're working on it.
Yes. And we had our butter cake, which when I say that butter cake sold out so fast, it was crazy. We had
a butter cake coming back like, what do you mean there's no more butter cake?
Yes, and some people were coming up to us like, y'all have butter cake, and give me the piece, you know, the slice of pound cake, and we were like, no, it's butter cake, and they were like, yeah, give me the pound cake. Anyway, they loved it. They absolutely loved it. So we had butter cake. We also had chocolate chip cookies and brownies, and our coffee was brewed. But we have some extra surprises for the next pop-up. So please join us December 11th, 1150 Lamont Ave, Chicago, Illinois 60651 from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Bethel New Life.
Yep. We'll be there.
Yes, December 11th, at the Saturday after.
So we'll be looking forward to seeing everybody.
Yes.
And even if you can't come, you can order online. Don't forget to pick up your book so you can sit and read that while you drink your coffee.
Absolutely.
Get your book at don'tsmelllikesmoke.com or Amazon. And as always,
God, I feel so lonely doing this without
Deanna.
As always, keep it brewing. We're not ready.